so we are back. Star Wars month is officially over, but here is a fun bonus extended edition, what we'll call. We had Michael on from the creator of the ICCCon in Nashville last show, and now we got a special guest and attendee, uh, podcast listener, follower, DU crew member, but most important, good friend in general. So, John, thanks for coming on the show. And how you been, man?
I've been great, Joey. Thanks for having me on. This is the first time I'm on the show. I've been listening to you guys for a while, so thank you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, we've been friends. We're fellow Skywalkers. Met officially at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, and been good friends ever since. You saved my butt at Celebrations Anaheim for our Fresh Hops event that we did at Rad Beer Co. So I couldn't have done it without you being there. So always appreciative of that. And you know what? I can't wait till the next time we can do that.
Yeah, it'll be a blast next time. And of course, yeah, happy to help any Star Wars fans.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's just get into it. You were at the convention last week. I was again. I was supposed to go. Life happens. I'm just going to make sure saying next year I'll be there, but I definitely will be there next year. But let us know how it went this year at ICC in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, first, Joey, yes, we will get you there this time. But yeah, I will say actually before I get started, I heard about this convention on your guys' show before anybody else actually. So,
Oh wow.
So it hit the radar, and then it started popping up on some other podcasts I listened to, and then I went there last year, and then I went there this year again. We had so much fun last year that a big group of us all decided to go there, and so that was yeah, it was a lot of fun this time. They picked a last year there was a great turnout, which was great. The problem was that I think almost more people than they originally expected showed up last year. So this year they were prepared. They got
Yeah.
like the fairgrounds pretty much to set up the convention. So yeah, it was a little bit outside of Nashville, but it actually worked out very well. They booked like 4 hotels kind of all in one area, and it was great because pretty much you knew anybody kind of staying at those hotels were just other Star Wars fans or ICC attendees, because I know originally this was very a Star Wars heavy convention, but they have started stretching out a bit to other areas as well outside of
Yeah.
just Star Wars, so it makes it a lot of fun for everybody.
Very cool. And yeah, just seeing it grow the last 5 years that we've been covering it and talking to Michael, just like every year gets bigger and bigger. And luckily, I was able to catch some of the streams going on, between ICCCon and YouTuber Carly King, which you got to meet, which is pretty cool. I want to hear some stories.
Yeah.
The Rebels panel, which that would have been my main target for this convention. I love Rebels. Love Clone Wars, and I would have been happy to see them at the previous one, but Rebels is one of my favorite all-time Star Wars. So just to be able to see the cast together again, just super awesome.
Well, good. Well, I'll start with the Rebels stuff then first. So that was kind of my main focus as well. I collect the Star Wars Insider magazines, and whenever I'm meeting celebrities, I try to bring one of those and get it signed. So luckily, I had one that had all 5 of them on there. Now, Freddie Prinze
Oh, nice.
couldn't make it, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the rest of the 4, and I'll catch Freddie some other time. And so yeah, so that first day, it was kind of get to the Rebels panel and get all their signatures. So I succeeded in all that. The meeting them, they're all like just super nice people. I kind of met Steve Bloom back at the Disney Star Wars weekends that they did in Florida years ago, like before Rebels started. And all I knew was my friends are going, "Oh my gosh, Steve Bloom, he's an amazing voice actor." And I didn't really know. So but yeah, so meeting him again, it was fun. I kind of reminisced about that. He was saying thank you so much for supporting us even before the show came out and all of that. And so they were all just the theme was they were all very thankful, and they were all happy that that crew was back together. Because then during that panel, they were having a blast. You could just tell that that they were just happy to be back. There was somebody who had like a chopper like from the droid builders came up, and they all started at one point. He was kind of causing a ruckus up in the front, and they all kind of started getting into the voices a bit, and it was so much fun, and it just brought me back to the show. I will say I'm more of a Clone Wars crazy. But definitely, obviously, Rebels was a big thing. My cousin's a huge Rebels fan, and so when so kind of the build up to this, I was watching a bunch of the episodes, and I was getting back into it, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I think it was when I met Vanessa Marshall with Hera. Like Hera was
Yeah,
kind of always my favorite character, and she
I
just
too.
like, yeah, oh, she clicked right into it when I met her, and it was just like, oh, this is so crazy. So yeah, so it was really cool. They were kind of reminiscing about stories and certain plot points and stuff like that. The one of the nice things Vanessa said was how excited she was to see the characters keep moving on, from within Ahsoka itself for the show moving forward. Is that like she's like, yeah, of course I would have liked to be there, but I'm so happy who they picked, and can't be more excited. So you could tell the support of that, like, Star Wars family is really there. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, just being that presentation would have been amazing. And yeah, she's one I've been loosely having a conversation with on Instagram, and would love to get her on the show. So hopefully we can make that happen. And
She's so cool. I'll tell another story related to Vanessa. So I was lucky enough to be staying at the hotel that all the stars were at. So I have many stories that you may not even believe, but I swear they happened. But with her, so I met her, and then I ran into her then actually later that night. And so she was just like hanging out in the lobby, and my group was known to hang out in the courtyard and have fun, drink a little bit, and kind of do whatever. And so she was saying hi to all of us, and so all of us kind of have a small story of just saying hi and a really quick talk. And she was just happy to kind of be around other happy, excited people, I think. So yeah, so she's cool. Yeah.
very cool. And it sounds like that would have been the circle I would have been hanging out too. Couple beers,
Yeah.
stories,
Yep. Yeah. We ran to Michael out there. And so he kind of he was chatting with us a little bit. There was one night where his like leadership crew was out there before it all started, and then he just quickly handed us a few beers because he knew we were having fun. So it was good to meet him actually as well. I last year he was so busy I didn't even have time to say hi. This time I was able to say hi and mentioned I knew you, Joey. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
so how many days? This was 3 days, right?
Well,
Or
so there were a total of 3 days, but for you needed a VIP pass to get in on the first day. They really kind of push the exclusivity of that. So the VIPs kind of get that first access to the floor, to the celebrities, stuff like that. I was meeting up with a bunch of friends, and also I whenever I do these big trips, I kind of extend them to get the most out of my travels. So we had stuff going on, and so I was like, I'll just go those 2 days, the Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, there was stuff all 3 days. I know there were some good panels actually on that first day, and so I'm sure it was worth it for those who did it. But I just chose not to, and more invested into the other things in Nashville.
that's cool to do. I know you caught a baseball game, the AAA for your team, the Brewers. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. As the Brewers and Giants were playing.
Yes,
So
yes, yeah. Joey and I were messaging each other, or I think, or well, I don't know. I think the Brewers were losing so much that I kind of was like, I don't need to bring it up, but yeah, it was cool to be down there for our AAA team. I actually saw one of our Brewers who was coming off of injury was playing there, and so it was kind of cool to see him there before he came up to Milwaukee. But that stadium is so cool. If you like baseball, I highly recommend you swing out there. It's actually, I think, the most attended minor league baseball team.
oh, nice.
And Nashville, yeah, and the stadium's really cool. The guitar is a big or the screen is a guitar, and so like the scoreboard is like down the neck of the guitar. It's just really cool being there, and yeah, it was cool. I of course, I'm fully decked out in Brewers gear. Some people are like, "Hey, good Brewers!" Woo. And so, yeah, so it was cool to kind of, and that was a good like kickoff. That was we did that on Thursday, before we moved to the hotels that were closer to the convention, and yeah, it got us in the mode to have fun.
That's awesome. Hopefully, they're home next year because I
Yeah,
definitely hit up the baseball game before. You know.
I'm crossing my fingers as well. Yeah, definitely.
Well, right on. And so, what else was going on the days you were at the convention that stands out?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll actually, so as Michael has said many times, it kind of started out as a collection kind of convention, and definitely that was still a big part of it. What was actually, I don't collect a lot of action figures. My speciality is all the Hot Wheel cars that you may see
Oh,
back
nice.
here. So different
Yeah.
conversation for a different time. But what I was with people who really collect all the kind of the old stuff, the rare stuff, and so what they do is at one of the hotels, it was like designated as the collector's hotel, and what they did was they set up in the lobby, people just put up chairs or tables, and then laid out kind of the collection that they were either willing to sell or trade, and then and like they filled up a whole like convention hall that was like in the hotel, like a small convention hall in the hotel. And then even crazier, that I've never done this before, is they do room sales as well. So they have this whole
Really?
Facebook group, and what you do is you just go up a floor, you walk down, and if they have the door kind of hinged open, you kind of just peek in, make sure it's actually they're selling stuff, and then you go in, and they just have it like laid out on the beds and on chairs, and they have like interesting lighting to make sure it's pointing at the collection instead of just in the
Yeah.
room. It was interesting. There were great deals. I will say, like, the deals there, I was being told that they were very reasonable because it's just fans selling to other fans. And so that was our big Friday night event. And yeah, they people are giving out stickers or whatever that they made from the swag and all that stuff. It really felt like a mini, like a collector's Star Wars celebration. It almost felt like so yeah, it was very interesting as a non-collector just to follow my friends, and somebody gets a
Yeah.
good deal and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look what I got!" And so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. It's like the convention after hours or bonus.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty.
exactly.
I've heard of like room parties at like the Tiki Oasis. They always have room parties where there's like drinks and stuff. And yeah, I haven't heard of the collectors. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and obviously the bar was open down at the lobby, and so people were carrying drinks around as well, and people were talking about bits and pieces of the collection. So yeah, the it all started on that Friday. That was kind of it was really cool. I would say, but yeah, and then pretty much again that kind of kicked off. Then the next day we just hit the ground running then at the convention. And
Nice. I saw you had pictures of some really cool cosplays players and
yeah,
Steve Bloom, of
yeah.
course. And
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I was wearing my Star Wars Packers shirt, and they liked it. They were Steve and his handler were like, "Oh my gosh, I love your shirt." And so they took a photo, and then I'm like, "Okay, but I need to take a photo then." And so we got a photo there. What was cool was, so we got there. There was like a line to enter in, and so because I will say their security is like top of the line. It's probably the most
yeah,
secure I've ever felt at a convention. They check your
I know
bags and
Michael's really proud of their security, and
yep,
that's good to hear that fans are noticing it too,
yeah.
especially fans that go to many other conventions around.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. And so there was a line, but what they did actually, because they had enough room, they actually did a parade. So they had like a local band come in and they were playing some music, and then cosplayers were walking down. Somebody had one of those like tanks from Rogue One,
Oh,
like actually driving down. We talked to the creator of it, and there was actually like a small car like built, like they built the tank on top of a small car, and
huh.
so could actually drive it around. It was very impressive. I've seen those at some other conventions, and I just assumed they were like static, like they just kind of drop them there and build them there and then pack it up. But no, the guy just,
Yeah.
I guess, just drove it right onto a trailer and took it home. So yeah,
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
yeah,
Man,
but
the
yeah, so
creativity of people is just insane. I mean,
Yeah.
not just the cosplayers, but then like I said, the droid builders, how much hours it takes to just build one droid, and now he's like full prop a tank. I mean, come on,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
that's
And then
crazy.
yeah, and I'll since you brought up the droid builders, I'll just say one of my favorite droids there was it was a Disney one, so keep it on brand here. Yeah, it had like Mickey ears on. It was in like kind of a red and white that felt very Mickey like, and so I had to get a selfie. I was wearing my Star Tours like 35th anniversary shirt, so
Yeah,
I think somebody spotted me and was like, "Oh, good, you got a photo with them." I'm like, "Yeah, I had to."
yeah, I saw that picture, and for a second, I thought it was the one that was actually at like Star Wars weekends, back in the day. That has a picture with like Mickey and all them as Jedi, and even George Lucas. It looked
Yeah.
just like that one to me,
It,
anyway.
I was actually trying to find the person who built it, but they were away every time I kind of swung by. So that was kind of a theme. A lot of times I was trying to like catch people, but because so much was going on at other panels, I was actually kind of running. I was like crossing the streams kind of and missing people at certain times. So but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a lot of fun though still.
that's very cool. And I keep forgetting because we are on YouTube. I'm just going to share some of your photos if you don't mind. I didn't even ask
Yeah.
you ahead, but
No,
so
go
this is
ahead.
obviously you with Steve Bloom. Oh, that shirt is badass. By the way,
Yeah, come
I,
on. Have to. I mean, I'm wearing a Brewers hat and a Packers. I'm a full-on Wisconsinite. So
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, what a cool dude.
he's so nice. He's the like nicest person ever there.
And
Yeah,
of
and
course
then
the panel here. Who's
yep,
this lady right
yeah,
next to Steve?
yeah. So I took a note of that. That's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, I believe.
Uh-huh.
She's Governor Price. So
Oh,
um,
wow,
so I
nice.
Yeah, and then one thing I didn't realize, and somebody told me this, so I apologize if I'm getting corrected in the comments later on. But I believe she and Steve are actually married now. Um,
Wow,
they
nice.
they actually also worked on Cowboy Bebop. I do not watch. I've been told I need to watch that anime, but I have not. But yeah, so they also do voices there as well. But yeah, so this was probably the panel that was the most excited, was that they were just, again, just giddy to be there. And what was cool was you could tell those that like Steve and Mary were like very like full on like voice actors, and then
Yeah,
and so you could hear them clicking in and out. They were doing the voices. It was so fun. But then you hear like Taylor and Tia up in the front, and they just sound like their characters, but
yeah,
because they haven't really done a lot, I guess. And so it was just cool to have them all there kind of playing off of each other. And they like Taylor would laugh, and I'm like, yeah, that's just Ezra laughing. It sounds great. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
that's awesome. And now that I see her, I'm looking up at I got a Rebels season 4 poster.
Yeah.
That when you're talking about got it signed, I'm like, oh man, because it's got all the main characters, but then it also has Governor Price and Thrawn. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm just thinking how amazing it would be to get that
oh,
completely.
yep.
And of
I
course, Dave signing Chopper. That'd be sweet.
Oh yeah, I have a Clone Wars one here that I wish Dave would get, but yeah, yeah. Here's the R2. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, it was great to see that, and of course me being the Disney nerd as well, I was like, yes,
but that's perfect that you got a picture of the Disney R2 with your Star Tours shirt.
yeah, yep, yeah. It's a good shirt to have.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Let's see. Oh, of course,
Oh yeah,
EQ.
yeah, yeah. It was so I sadly he wasn't moving around, so I didn't know if he was like rising up and down, but just seeing that so close, like that's the first one I've seen in person, and I was like, oh, I have to get a photo of this. The droids, as an IT guy, droids always are like kind of my like, I'm like, oh, this it would be cool to build one someday.
Oh yeah. That man, they do so much with them now. Of
Yeah.
course, an awesome Bo Katan.
Yep, Bo Katan. Yep, I listened to the Mando show, so I was like, yeah, and she was I didn't get her name, but she was really excited about talking about this, because I know another cosplayer who's doing a Bo Katan, and I heard the hardest part is that jetpack back there. So I
Oh,
asked her, I was like, how long did that take? And she said it was like a day's worth of like work just to get that all perfect and the colors and all the little pieces on there. So yeah, so she was probably the best bow that was walking around there.
That's cool because I love just the detail and all the armor nicks and scratches, and
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was a very good one there. Oh yeah, and so this again, it was another this was the Cowboy Bebop panel. This was
Uh-huh.
actually right before the episode or the 40th anniversary panel. And so one of our buddies, he runs the question and answer for that one, and so he was like, yeah, just go up close, like just so he got us right in the front row. And so I just wanted to snag the photo because again, even though it was a Cowboy Bebop panel, at the end then they broke into Zeb and Price yelling at each other. So it
Oh,
was
that's awesome.
still they very kept it Star Warsy still.
Very cool. They know the audience.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, like they had Daredevil, they had a couple other stuff, but yeah, it is mostly Star Wars.
Yep.
There's
Um
the man.
yeah, yeah. So during the so I forgot to take or well I didn't post the photo of the full group. But yeah, halfway through the panel then Ian came out and it was really cool. He was kind of playing with those guys as well and really talking it up, and of course the crowd's loving it. So yeah, so he it was really cool to see him this close. I actually when we were walking out, so the main stage is actually in its own building. So when we were walking out, we kind of walked a side way around to
Yeah.
kind of there were like two entrances for security, and so we went around. Well, sure enough, he just pulls up right next to us in a golf cart, says hi to us, and just kind of walks in, and you're like, yeah, this doesn't happen at Celebration.
Oh
So
yeah, exactly. I was lucky enough one time to see him just as close as you were. A good friend, Skywalker, Michelle, travels a lot, and we were at a while back ago as like a San Francisco Comic Con, and
oh wow.
since she has a scooter, we were able to. She's like, "Hey, come with us," and so we got to enter with her front and center to the stage for his panel, and one of the greatest guys just to hear him talk and
Right, yeah,
tell his story.
he's always happy to click into the voice too, which is
Oh yeah.
because like he didn't do the laugh this time because I heard that kind of Rex's voice, and he had a lot of people signing all throughout the weekend. So I think he was probably saving it, but yeah, it was very cool.
Right on. Let's see. We got a few more
Oh, there was the
There it
group
is.
photo. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so a lot of them were kind of just I'm blanking on some of them. Femi Taylor's the one in the back. She's the one who played
Yeah,
Ula. So
Ula. Yeah.
yeah, she was really excited to be there and meet people. And then one of them is Max Rebo as well. I think the one on the left.
This guy?
But I think I actually no, I think it's the other guy on the um no, yeah, him, I think. But yeah, either way, it was just cool to hear some of the behind the scenes stories of it, how they a lot of them kind of stumbled upon a job in there. And so yeah, so I think that's recorded. I do not know these stories as well as I should. So definitely take a look at that ICC um like YouTube page.
Yeah.
They had them all there.
Very cool. Yeah, I met her in Stockton one time. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and then one quick photo. This is one of my buddies, Glenn Nelson. He played way back in the day of the Forcecast, if you remember that podcast back in the day. He would play a lot of those songs that they would play on there. So we kind of knew him. But what's cool about this as a whole is they had their own music stage. So there was like one day Mandalorians were like fully dressed up playing like rock music. So it was just cool. But yeah, it was kind of a highlight to have one of our friends there, and we had like 20 people in our group, so we all showed up, and it turned into like a real concert. It was a blast.
oh, that's awesome. And I'm just guessing. It looks like is that a Danny Haas Ahsoka shirt?
Yeah, it's I forgot what Ahsoka. Yeah, it's some Ahsoka shirt though. Yeah, so he's a big Ahsoka fan. Yeah, he wrote a song called the Fate of Ahsoka," and he wrote that like 10 or 11 years ago, and it's still valid today. So so
Oh, nice.
it was cool.
Has he
Chris Mox
recorded
was
anything
yeah
that might be on
yeah
Spotify or
yeah yes, he's under High Adventure.
High
I
Adventure? Okay.
believe, yeah, I don't have it up, but his band is High Adventure. It was Yeah, and so somebody had like the old High Adventure shirt as well that he made
Oh, right.
years and years ago. So it was fun. We had fun with it, and he loved it. So it was good to see that because he doesn't get to play these like nerdy songs very
Yeah.
often, and so it's like he's playing it for the people he wrote them for, and so he was tearing up a bit. So it
Oh,
just
that's
made
cool.
it was just making the day even better on that.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out and add them to my Force Mix playlist.
Yes, I'll send you some links. But yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, and then this last one. So this is they had a circus there. Pretty much it was a group called the Aerial Skywalkers, and they kind of did all the stuff where like you hang from a ribbon or hang from a thing, kind of spin around, do some crazy stuff. But the reason why I took this photo was because this lady, she's wearing like a Darth Vader mask, but she actually built this setup. It's a TIE fighter. So she took the ring and actually like welded on pieces, and she got this thing spinning, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna hit one of the poles and all this stuff. It was very crazy. So I had to share this photo because it just knowing how much it takes to build something like that and then get it working on there and make it look good. It was very impressive. So
Yeah. Dang, that's
yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, thanks for going through my photos.
Oh yeah, I
I
totally
really
forgot. I'm like trying to bring it up as we're going. So
no,
very cool
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
God.
And so that you mentioned a little bit about Friday or Saturday. What
Yeah.
anything else stick out that maybe happened the
Yes.
next day or
Yeah, on Sunday. So those photos were kind of from all the days, but definitely one of the crazier highlights I'll just share was so again, my group was known as kind of like the party group out in the courtyard of the Marriott, and so some of the celebrities actually recognized us. I don't think we were too loud. I think they were just happy we were having fun. But one night, it was Sunday night, so it's the night when I should have been packing because I had a 13-hour drive back up to Wisconsin. But Spencer Wilding, the guy who played Darth Vader in Rogue One, he came out and he started joining us, and so
oh,
he joined us. We shared some beers with him, and then he started just talking to all of us. He was just happy. Again, convention was over. He had a flight in the morning, so he didn't really have much to do, and so he was just talking. I was talking to a bunch of other people, so I didn't do a lot, but I did get a photo with him. So that was kind of funny. We were kind of joking around. It wasn't even that big of a planned thing. I wasn't actually going to even bug him, but that somebody else like ran over. It's like, oh, we'll just ask him, and then they just got the photo. He was so cool. So definitely, I didn't get anything signed from him or anything, but for sure the next time I see him, I will be because it ended everything at a great time. So when I should have been to sleep, I was hanging out with Darth Vader. So it
hey,
was like it's worth it. So
exactly.
yeah, yeah. So really, the what I'll say is like, yeah, it was cool to be at the convention, and the convention's cool. But what's nice is that because it's kind of central, a lot of my Star Wars friends, we all kind of came from many different areas. I'm luckily part of kind of a big group, and so it was just nice to see people from all around the country, all in
Yeah.
one area. Weather was beautiful. I left when it was like 40 degrees up by me, so I'm coming down in shorts, and I was loving it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun for that. And Nashville is such a fun place. You can do the downtown area. They have great food everywhere. There's breweries all around. I did hit one of the breweries near the baseball stadium. So yeah, it's a great city to have a kind of convention like that and visit.
Yeah, especially in the springtime, like I said, when baseball's going on, the weather's perfect. Yeah, it's definitely a big destination for me, not just because of the convention, but you just added minor league baseball, which love minor league baseball. It's you really get a good love for the up close for being at AAA and even AA games. But of course, the breweries. You know, like that was one of my goals to visit a few, and even the Copper Tiki is the tiki bar down there,
Oh,
and that's actually the home tiki bar of Brandon. He's the owner of Geeky Tiki's, so
oh,
does a
wow!
lot
I
of stuff out that way.
You can tell I'm not a tiki guy as much as outside of going to Trader Sam's or
Yeah,
Trader Sam's at the Disney's. But I know you love that. So yeah, yeah, definitely one will get you out there and plan some days ahead of time to adventure around the city because it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely a goal. So, um, anything else for the convention that really stands out,
Man,
especially different than
oh,
other conventions? Or
yeah. So again, I will say it's just that like the biggest thing is the celebrities seem so chill just because the whole place is chilled out. So like I we mentioned earlier with Carly, she was running around so much, running that live feed and all that stuff. So she had a table, but she was like in and out of there so much, I kept missing her. I caught her finally. They were like talking to somebody, buying something, and I was like, "Hey, can we just chat quickly?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, totally." She's the nicest person. I followed her shortly after she was announced. I was like, "Wait, who is this?" And I started following her, and her energy is just so great. So yeah, she would pop out every once in a while on the main stage, but yeah, she was super kind. Wanted to We took a photo quickly, had a quick conversation, and then you could just tell she had to keep going, so I kind
yeah,
of let her go. But yeah, that was cool. Oh, actually, one last thing was
you're
fun.
like, who is this cute girl that likes Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly. But
Great
yeah,
content. I mean, she does great videos. So
yep. And again, super nice. One last one. I'll leave it to you. The John Rhys Davies, the guy who plays Sala in Indiana Jones and Gimli. He was the one I spotted the most in the lobby of the hotel. He seemed like he seemed so excited to be there and just talking with people. He
yeah.
even started taking photos with the people like running the hotel, and they were all super excited. He was excited, but the best my like brush with him was that, you know, that awkward situation where you're in the elevator and it comes
Oh,
down and you do that. I did that with John Rhys Davies. He was we walked in. I was like, "Oh, excuse me, sir," and he actually is like, "Oh, no problem," and went for the handshake. And so I just shook his hand. And I was like, "Elevator's yours." And so it was just one of those things that's like, yeah, this normally does not happen, and I'm experiencing all this. So yeah, it was just cool being around so nice celebrities that just want to also enjoy the time and have fun and thank you for being there. So yeah, it's a good one. I'll be back next year. We don't even know. We caught Michael on the last day, and we gave him the good feedback on the location and all that, and he goes, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but I'm taking like 2 weeks off of not doing anything to relax before I even think about the next one, because we were all trying to get some like insider scoop, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not happening for quite a while. So
that's
but
awesome.
yeah,
And oh man, about running into like that John so close to being an Indiana Jones, 5 coming out this month,
right,
and being there since the beginning. And I think it was Alex, co-host Alex here, after they posted that he was going to be there, and he was like, I am today's year old when I just realized he played Gimli. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, he did the voice for Treebeard. you know
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't know they were the same people either.
uh,
Now I'm obviously I feel a lot of us are going to be doing like a rewatch of a lot of those indie movies, and so we're going to be we're all going to be like, oh yeah, that's Gimli. Weird, but yeah. So yeah, it
if
was
I would have gone, I probably would have thrown in a last minute cosplay of him, but from the newsreel video from Indiana Jones at Disneyland.
yes,
Because we always
yes,
do the videos that when they do the little slideshow, me and my niece, we always tease around. We'll take pictures in there, like,
yeah.
kind of.
Yes, I feel like I knew Indiana Jones from the parks before I knew the movies
Oh
sometimes,
yeah,
which is terrible to say, but I was a little bit younger and I remember we got stuck in that room one time because they were fixing the ride, and so I heard him saying that thing over and over
yeah.
and over. So yeah, so like if I would have pre-prepared something to sign, it probably would have been something from that ride.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. No, yeah, yeah. Just between your photos, your stories. I mean, it just looks like so much fun. And again, maybe that much sadder for not being there, but glad you had a blast. It looked like everybody else had a blast. So much going on, and like I said, I can I will definitely be there next year. Now that I got a decent travel hookup now, so it's like, okay, I'll plan ahead. So, and
Good.
and I'll hang out with you guys and party,
Yep.
afterwards. So,
Yeah, we're just a big group of people who just like to have fun and I'm like, because typical conventions you kind of like all disperse, but it was
yeah,
great that we all like we knew we were gonna meet up and we knew where we were heading afterwards and like luckily there was kind of like a liquor store right nearby, so we went and
yeah,
got some beers, brought them over and we made it work. And so yeah, it luckily it all went very, very well. Yeah, the only sad part was driving back. I was so exhausted. I think I got home, just went straight to sleep. Next day I had to work, and the second I was done with work, I think I took like an hour and a half nap
yeah.
because I was just like a shell of myself because of all the fun that we had. So yeah, it's good. I would recommend it, and yeah, we'll have to get your whole group out there if we
Oh
can
yeah,
because the media stuff. There's I was seeing some of my friends who had some media passes out there to like they had the whole mic set up and all that, and they were interviewing all the stars and they seemed to enjoy it. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting to hear some of that stuff as
Well, yeah,
well.
well, and we'll even I'll say it right now. We'll just add you to part of the team, the media team. So
Hey, I'll represent if I need to, but
I'll plan ahead a lot better next year.
no,
So
no worries. It was I wouldn't have had time anyway. I was having fun at the room sale or whatever. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun and yeah, so we'll definitely be we'll be planning that there. So I hope more people keep coming as well because
yeah,
I think they keep adding stuff. Like they had like a helicopter ride. I didn't do that, but they
yeah,
had a demolition derby as well. It was just there was just so much.
yeah. Like Michael saying, all the different like just rock bands showing up and just I
Yeah.
mean, and we keep plugging it even though we haven't been there yet. But just I mean, for the fact it looks like a fun convention, but it just seems like Michael and his whole team are just nothing but cool people, and that's why we just keep supporting, and eventually we'll get there. So
Yeah, yeah. You can tell that they like it's very much for the passion. It's like because like I was kind of overhearing like it felt like there was a lot kind of going on and they were organizing it, and you can tell it's kind of not their full-time job, but that's okay. That's
yeah,
what makes it different. And so yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
yeah. Like I was saying when I had him on, just a true fan-run convention, by fans for fans, and I just
Yep.
love seeing it succeed and get bigger and bigger every year. So,
Yeah.
but so that sounds like a blast. I'm glad you had a great time. Of course, I couldn't have you on without we had you commenting from the live our last episode, actually regular episode, and you just came off Star Wars night at the Brewers game. So I
Yes.
pulled up your Instagram again and just some photos and love Star Wars night. The giant Star Wars night was just I think a week the weekend after this one.
Hmm.
And I got to tell my quick story before I get to your photos because
Yeah.
this pissed me off. but
Oh.
so it was so luckily Giants we get two Star Wars nights, mostly two Star Wars nights a year, and one earlier and one later. But the earlier one was specifically a celebration of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So you get the special ticket to get the special bobblehead, and it
Yep.
was Wicket on a speeder on top of Giants ball. And so I bought the ticket through there. I was all excited and everything. I wore my Rebels button up shirt, my not Star Wars Rebels, but it was the Park Hops. They do like different, not Park Hop tees. I'm butchering it. They used to be Mattis Hatter, but they do like baseball jerseys and football jerseys. So mine was an orange shirt that said Rebels. So I wore that with a Giants hat. But anyways, so I go to get my bobblehead, and they're like, "Oh, no, you have to have a special ticket for it." I'm like, that's where I bought my ticket." "Well, no, you just bought a regular one." I'm like, I specifically clicked on the promotion ticket, and so basically I didn't get my bobblehead, which was one of the big reasons I went. Plus, it was Star Wars night, but
Yeah.
go to my seat in the bleachers, and everybody around me had one, so it's not like I bought the wrong section. So I was
Oh.
just bummed, but
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first year the Brewers did that as well, where you had to buy a separate ticket. So I knew one of my friends, well, you know him, Chris Mock.
Yeah.
He collects all of those like Star Wars bobbleheads, and so I knew he was gonna want one, so I was gonna like surprise him with it. But of course, he started researching and going, John, what do I need to do to get this? I'm like, I got it, no problem. So I took some friends with me specifically. I bought all the tickets with that added because he had to pay like it was some extra ticket cost, but I just told him, by the way, I added this on, and don't worry, I'm eating the cost because I want them. So
Yeah.
I have a few of the Brewers specific ones as well. But yeah, because I think my parents came, but they didn't, they wanted to sit in a different section, but that section didn't have the like special tickets, so
Yeah.
they couldn't even get the bobbleheads. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird way to do it, but
And it's like I've done the promotions before. I got a Chewbacca Star Wars one and
oh,
Brandon Crawford as like a Mandalorian. So hopefully September their giveaway for the Star Wars is a Funko Mandalorian. So
huh.
Giants wise, but anyways,
That'll be
that's
cool.
that's my sad story of not getting my
Oh,
bobblehead. But it was still
yeah.
fun. They showed Star Wars clips and stuff throughout the night, but not as fun as what happened to you at the Brewers. So, of course, this is the outside the stadium or the scoreboard, or
Yeah, that's the scoreboard. So before the game started, they had this up there. So a lot of times with the Brewers, they stepped up their game this year. It was kind of a joke that you always had the intern that would like design this stuff, and it would look like it was kind of put together. But this year they went all out. I'll give the Brewers credit. So before you move, the right
sure.
next to the barrel man with the green lightsaber, that was our bobblehead. So if you know who Bob Euchre is, he's
Oh yeah.
the but like our announcer, he's been around forever. So it was Uke Skywalker.
Oh,
And so
that's
he's
perfect.
wearing his like sweater vest and has a hood, a soft hood, and so yeah, it's a very it's a cool bobblehead. So it's good because I think it's gonna be a popular one for people to get because he's such a baseball legend, not
Yeah.
just a Brewers one. So yeah, so it was cool. But yeah, they kind of had this up. It was nice
And
touch.
if for people that don't know who Bob Euchre is, he's a Harry Doyle from the Major League movies, the announcer,
Yep.
iconic announcer. And
Yep.
I didn't know they had this until I was watching the Giants Brewers series, but that how they actually have a little Euchre seats statue
Yep.
or mini statue in this, which is again, if you know, you know, it's just an old school
Yep.
Bob Euchre joke, and from the beer commercials, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he always said he liked to sit way in the back, and
Yeah,
so it's a life size statue of him in the worst seat that you could possibly be at American Family Field. I keep calling it Miller Park, so if you hear me
yeah,
say Miller Park, but yeah, it's up in the nosebleeds. I've never taken a photo up there because it's way up there. I mean, and
yeah.
you have to get there before the game because they actually cover him up because they don't want people wandering up there in the middle of the game.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but yeah, so
after
yeah,
after a
so it
couple
was
drinks.
yeah, well, yeah, definitely at the Brewers. Yeah, we're known to have a good time there.
Yeah. So next picture, tell us what happened here.
Yeah, so if it might be hard to see because I just had my family, my friends taking photos and videos, but the guy in the orange is me. So I'm a big Ahsoka fan, and I have this shirt that I wear to all types of Star Wars events. So
Yeah.
people always kind of find me, and so but yeah, I'm walking around, I'm eating my like food or whatever, and then somebody in like kind of taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, I love your shirt. Do you want to go onto the field to do to do a trivia thing?" And I was like, sure. And I turned to all my friends. They're all laughing at me because these are kind of local friends, not big,
Yeah.
like they like Star Wars, but not this much. And they go, "Of course, John, you're gonna go onto the field. Okay, we'll see you later." And so, sure enough, so me and the guy in the black, he was kind of dressed up as like a dark Anakin. And so we did trivia. It was pretty much character or planet. And so it was, to be honest, it was kind of easy, but I was standing there going, "Oh my gosh, I cannot get one of these wrong because I will just be shunned by my friends saying, yeah." But the other guy, he was a little worried, and so but yeah, so I can't remember all of them, but yeah, we went back and forth, and actually the tiebreaker, or well, kind of, because he got them all right, I got them all right, and then so they asked him if it was Dorme, which
Ah,
us Star Wars fans, we know that. But I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has no clue, and he guessed it right as a character. And then mine to kind of like say, yeah, we both tied. It was Mandalore. So they thought it might confuse somebody if like they heard Mandalorian or whatever, and it's
yeah.
like, nope, it's a planet. So of course I knew that, and so yep. So I got 2 free tickets, kind of field level, and so I'm actually going next weekend. I'll be going. So they just picked the game for me, and yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. Just being
it
on the
was
field, you know.
right. Yeah, and the funny story behind this. So I was actually the reason why we were wherever I was when I got pulled over was because I was trying to get a photo with stormtroopers, but they were all following this media crew around. And so once I was done, I'm like, hey guys, can I get a photo with you quickly? So I'm on the field taking a selfie with stormtroopers. It was like perfect. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's classic. And I'm not going to lie. There's very few hats outside of San Francisco that I would wear. An Angels one is one of them. They're my number 2 team. And a Pirates hat because I've always had a soft spot for the Pirates. But I would also wear a blue Brewers hat. So
Yep. Yeah, it's a classic logo. Yep, I love it. Quick story about this. So this is Tim Dillard. He's a former Brewers pitcher,
yeah.
and the guy, he's a huge Star Wars fan. So he's actually on the Brewers podcast. I listen to that because where I live now, I live in Packer country. We don't
Uh-huh.
get a lot of Brewers talk radio, so I listen to this podcast. And ever since they announced Star Wars Night, he's been talking about it. And so I was like, the other person I really wanted to meet was Tim Dillard. And sure enough, once I was walking to the field, I found him and I got the photo. So yeah, so he's a great guy. I'm pretty sure if he had time, he would start his own Star Wars podcast. So
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
yeah,
He
yeah,
looks like this Chewbacca lapel pin here too.
yeah. Well, so they did like a like for like who looks like somebody else, and of course they cut to Tim Dillard when the Chewbacca look-alike, and everybody cheered because we all knew who he was. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a lot of
that's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, and then of course they got a little creative with the names. That's like some of me and one of my friends' favorite parts is trying to predict these, and with a lot of them are a little bit of a stretch, but Brian Anderson was
Yeah.
like the best one. So we all cheered. People around us probably were like, "These people are crazy Star Wars fans," but we were having a blast with the names.
They're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, and then this one was kind of the craziest one where the person doing it was best Jar Jar Winks. We were all like, "Whoa!" Put the beard on the guy, like, yeah. But it was so, yeah. Had to share that photo as well.
That's classic.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's just me. My friends know me. I'm Italian, so I always cheer for the Italian racing sausages. So for those very quickly, for those who don't know, during it's the 6th or 7th inning. They've moved them through the years, but there's 5 sausages that run. So and so I will always cheer for the Italian sausage, who is number 3.
Nice.
Yep.
And no offense to Washington Nationals, but the Wiener race is way better than the Presidents.
Yeah, I back to Nashville really quickly. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna have racing sausages because they're a Brewers affiliate. Nope, they have racing country legends. So very similar, but you have like Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash running around. It was really funny. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Yep, and then yeah, and then just some cosplayers hanging around. So it's always cool when you have because like it's hard for these people to be walking through a stadium
Yeah.
with a ton of people, and so it was cool seeing the scout troopers and a Chewbacca that looked very good. So yeah, so snagged a quick photo of them.
Yeah, I love how so many of the baseball teams, because there's so many local like Star Wars costuming groups and 501st or Rebel Legion
Yep,
that they take advantage of having the local ones and showing up. So
yep.
was
And
this
then
from the
the
dugout?
last no, that was me on the field waiting for
Oh,
the thing. So yeah, I was actually right in front of the dugout though. But yeah, it was just kind of the like picture proof of like, yep, I'm here. So
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it
That's
was it
awesome,
was
man.
it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I know Joey and I we talk baseball all the time. So when the worlds collide, we nerd out about it. So
Yeah.
thanks
And,
thanks for letting me tell the story a bit. It
oh,
was
absolutely. No, that's awesome. And this happening before our Star Wars game. I'm like, I hope that happens, but we didn't get there in time. But I just want to talk about your shirt again, real quick.
yeah.
If I believe I'm, I just
Yeah.
got tongue tied. This was designed by cosplayer Ahsoka freaking Tano. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't think she's doing any runs anytime soon, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I actually got this on like the first run that she was doing of it, and yeah, it's really cool. You can kind of put whatever you want there. So a lot of the Ahsoka cosplayers, they put it there just so you can like kind of, yeah, here's a perfect one. So I just put my name and the state I was from. So but I've seen it where they have their tags for Instagram and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff, and if they're part of like the 501st or whatever kind of stuff right there. So it's pretty. It was cool because it's the same quality as all the 501st shirts that you see when
Yeah.
people are wearing them. It's just that she was selling them to fans. So I think she made another one that was a Bo-Katan one years ago. So I think actually I don't know, but either way,
Yeah.
she's very creative. Definitely check her out on Instagram. She's very nice person, and when I heard her on the show, I was like, oh no way! Of course, Joey knows. Again, like this is why we probably are good friends, is because we
Yeah.
we follow a lot of the same people, I think, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
so
that's why I
yeah,
wanted to bring that up because if for people that aren't familiar with the podcast or much, but back in Celebration in Chicago, uh, that's where I met her at the Clone Wars Returns panel, and wound up sitting next to her. Then uh, interviewed her real quick because I'm like that. I mean, she was a great Ahsoka, like you said, super nice. Was in tears during the panel, especially after the trailer. I think we all were because it was so amazing.
yeah.
Then she invited me because they had a Clone Wars saved photo shoot
Oh,
right after the panel and stuff. But then, so we always share her. I would always share her posts and stuff. And yeah, I remembered. I think I shared when she was pre-ordering these. Then I think you commented like, "Oh, pre-ordered." I
yep,
was like,
yeah.
"Well, right on. That's cool."
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, so I mean, no promises if she'll ever do it again, but if she does, definitely jump on it because it's great quality. To be honest, I would probably order another one just because just because I'm always afraid to wash the thing, so I'm
Oh
always
yeah,
like just hand washing it cold. But yeah, it's a great shirt. It stands out. Again, a lot of my friends would spot me with this because it's so bright, and so
yeah,
it's sometimes because a lot of Star Wars shirts they're dark like this, and so yeah.
exactly. So very cool. And yeah, I've seen you in it a couple times, and yeah, it's a great shirt, great look. So very cool. Ah, that's still so cool. Just,
It was a lot of fun. And it all happened before the game even started. So I would my friends would be talking, I'd just be chuckling to myself, being like, I can't believe I got onto the field. Like it was just the biggest highlight, and it happened like just within the first hour of being in there, because the Brewers are known, like the fans are known to tailgate outside, have fun out there, and then work their way in. But I was telling my
yeah,
friends, I'm like, no, we're going in because I want to see like some of the graphics. The hope we were trying to find cosplayers, and so
yeah,
yeah, it all paid off. My parents came because they just one they wanted to be at baseball, and then and two, it was Star Wars night, so they were gonna have fun. And I'm messaging them going, I'm walking onto the field now. Please be at your seats so you can watch. And so they were taking photos of me like it was hard to share because I'm so small on the field where they were sitting. And so
you're
yeah,
the
it
bright
was
orange.
yeah, that was a good thing, and that my mom could find me very quickly because it was like, yeah, just look for the orange person right on the field. That's me.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So those were any of those theme nights are always fun to go to. Some of them are better than others. I've been to like a Blackhawks game, the Chicago Blackhawks hockey, and for good or for bad, it landed on a night that they were celebrating somebody's 1000th game
oh
there,
nice.
and so which was cool to see that, but there wasn't much Star Wars stuff. But this one they fully dedicated it. So yeah, I know I miss, sadly, I live like a mile away the Brewers single A team actually, and they did Star Wars Night last night when I was at a concert instead.
Yeah,
So missed that one,
it
but
was a good
they
concert.
yes, oh yeah, it was a good concert. All those concerts I've been doing good with, but even the single A teams they have a lot of fun with it as well. So yeah, it's always good. So definitely if you ever catch one, or
Yeah,
because like even if it's not bobblehead night, it's just fun to be around other people who like Star Wars and baseball. So
yeah, and it yeah. I mean, when you can combine two of your big loves, I mean that's just super awesome. And yeah, we got a River Cats. That's our AAA team here. We got one coming up in July.
ooh.
It's always amazing. It's always a lot of fun. So, but yeah, man, that's super awesome. Real quick before we go, did anybody Star Warsy throw out the first pitch or?
Do you know what? No. What they did do instead was they did it was a Make a Wish thing. So somebody was fully, I think somebody from the 501st built this kid a full like Jedi costume. It was very cool. It was emotional. You could see the parents were crying. The
Yeah.
stormtroopers walked him out there, kind of stood in like the flying V flank, and the kid the force was with him because he threw that and it landed dead on, and I was like, wow, okay,
Ah, that's
this
awesome.
is good. So yeah, so no one real Star Warsy in Milwaukee. That's the one thing with Wisconsin. You don't have a lot of you have some Wisconsin celebrities there, but no one big enough that like it like definitely like no like David Eckstein with Ashley out there at the
Oh
Angels
yeah.
games or something like that. So yeah, I
Or
think that's with San Francisco, why you have like two nights, it's because you guys are in Star Wars land pretty much right there.
exactly.
So
I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't see. I missed two throughout this year, but the last one I went to 2 years ago or before COVID, Kathleen Kennedy threw out the
Oh
first pitch. Then me and Ryan were at the Cubs game before Celebration Chicago, and Jonas threw out the first pitch for that one.
yeah.
For people that don't know, I mean, you're listening to a Star Wars month episode, but Jonas is the current Chewbacca. So
Yeah, that was a
and
really
future
cold
Wookiee
game.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I remember, yeah, like for all you like Florida people and California people going to there, the reason why I didn't go to that game was because I tried to avoid Wrigley Field in like the beginning of the season, and that was
Yeah,
like
I see
April,
why.
and oh yeah, yeah, like sometimes the Brewers are playing there, and people are like, "Oh, you want to go, John?" I'm like, actually not. I will stay at Miller Park where they have a roof and it's heated inside. So thank you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Like I always joke around. It was cold. I luckily had, I didn't have a heavy jacket, but I had a scarf, a soccer scarf. And Ryan, who's from Canada, he wanted to leave. He was too cold. So,
yep,
and I just
yep.
wanted to enjoy Wrigley, but we
Yeah,
compromised and left early.
Wrigley's cool. It's part of the history. I've been there a few times, but I let's just say I'm spoiled with Miller Park or American Family Field now that
Yeah.
I'm good at I'll be good for a bit before I head back down to Wrigley. So sorry, Chicago friends.
Sorry, not sorry. No. But I would love. We got to talk though. I would love to fly out, watch a Giants Brewers weekend or something. So
I thought about it when they were playing. We were at I was at
yeah,
ICC or in there, but I thought about that. So yeah, next season I think they'll be in Milwaukee. So it's a cool city. There's obviously a lot of breweries. We could stack your other podcast up with many episodes out
oh
there.
yeah, definitely. Well, right on, man. Well, thanks for the great stories. Not just from ICC, but the baseball game, and thanks for all the support. The friendship. Loved
Yeah.
having you on. Got to get you on some more. So,
Yeah, definitely. If you ever need me, I'm ready to talk the wars.
oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I think this is a great way to officially end our Star Wars month celebration that went a little bit longer, which is very cool. Especially after talking to Michael, who runs the event. Nice to talk to somebody that attended it and can vouch for everything that Michael was planning and mentioned. So I think it's going to be a nice little companion to that episode, and I'm glad you had a blast. So, and for the final time this year, I will say I will be there next year.
We will make sure.
All right, on man. So everybody watching, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed all our Star Wars month content. They're always going to be up on our YouTube. So If you haven't yet, feel free to. Well, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe, hit the bell. You'll know when we post more content. We're going to start be doing more shorts. I've been playing around with that lately, and start doing some more lives and some more giveaways. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time. So have a good night.